Rob,
Hey, Karu.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sis. Yes, I can hear you. You're on. Listen, it's been a hectic. Just as I went live, I saw you, and the power just went out in the entire area. So not even low, it just went out.
What can I say? It's South Africa.
It's not the new South Africa. Okay, so we're gonna try and salvage this. China, the adverts, you think you can change it from your side? We're gonna try and salvage something out of it. Welcome, Rob, and thanks for just being patient.
No worries, buddy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. All working fine in the Free Republic of the Western Cape.
Oh, are you in the Western Cape? Well, then, are you able to change the adverts? Just let my son just change my style around so I can see you better. Bottom one. Is it? Just hold on a sec for me. Right, I think that's one we're on. I managed to get your new South Africa logo onto my feed as well. Or shall
Fantastic.
I say? I wouldn't use South Africa. Okay, Rob, we'll have to do this again, but let's get something done first, and let's try and get somewhere before the power goes out here where I am. Firstly, welcome. I'm going to shorten the questions up a bit, but we got about 45,000 hits on my TikTok that you were coming live, so you're quite the hit person around at the moment. You're quite I must say, you've been now through so many radio stations, TV interviews, and all of that, but you made time for the small boy like me, Caro Charo, and firstly, I'm happy, I'm amazed, I'm impressed, I'm blessed, I'm appreciative. But you've always made time for me, and maybe you can educate my readers and my listeners, my viewers, and my haters. Why is it that you make time for me?
Because you are a wonderful South African with a terrific sense of humor. You're intelligent, you're insightful, and you are the future of South Africa. And the funny thing is, I actually reach out to you. Most people reach out to me. I said to friends of mine, this guy's brilliant. Does anyone know him? And I got to meet you. You're the great Mader. You're the great Mader. I love you, man.
Yeah, most people don't know that you actually reached out to me. I remember that Friday conversation very well, where you called me out of the blue. I didn't know who Rob Hersov was at that point, to be honest. You know, I'd seen the clip. I didn't picture it together. But nonetheless, thank you for that. You know, when people ask me, and Rob, it's not about blowing smoke up your ass. And I'm glad we didn't meet, actually. Because a lot of people come across as Rob is this billionaire kind of guy. He's this guy, and he's that guy. I don't think even you noticed that when we had the night before the dinner, and then the next day when we had lunch, I sat opposite you, and I was very quiet, but I was watching you. I wanted to see this billionaire guy. Is he a fucking idiot? How would he behave? Because to me, that would show true character as to who you are. You know, you're a put-on kind of guy, whatever. So I must say, I tell people when they talk about you who never met you, I said, listen, I don't know where you'll end up. What I do know is when I was with him, he gave me the time of day. He showed me appreciation. He showed me love. He showed me genuine hospitality. And I think that's what comes out wherever we go, whatever I find out about you later. It's irrelevant as to what I experienced and do experience with you now. I see it in your demeanor. I was watching you when Gaten was talking. You were just like intent. You didn't need to run the show. You weren't the head of the table, and you didn't want to be the main man. You were prepared to listen to anyone and everyone, and that's something that I got attracted to. Have I summed you up in that, what I've witnessed about you?
Thank you, buddy. I've got a lot of smoke up my ass right now. No, you're a star, buddy. You really are. And I'm very proud of you. And I can't believe there are haters. Why would there be haters?
Well, you should know this by now. You never, 2 years ago, you didn't have so many people coming after you or saying things about you. Now that you're on the platform, you'll realize that people now want to hate on you because who's this white guy dude now coming up? He's an idiot. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Tell me that hasn't happened to you already?
Well, I'm not on social media, so I'm not on Twitter,
Okay,
LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, except there's a fake Twitter account of me. And as of today, I had to put up a Twitter account just with my name on it to try and kill the fake one.
Okay, Rob, let's just get down quickly while we have time. I'm sure we'll have to do this again because there's a lot of interest, especially from my community. And I was very surprised that they were all so very interested. When I was first mentioned you on my platform, wherever I went, people were hardly interested. Now people are sending me clips about you and saying, look at Rob Hersov, what he's doing, where he is. I said, well, you know the original mother who met up with Rob in the first instance. But Rob, let's talk about, a question coming across on the Twitter platform, on the TikTok was, Rob is a billionaire. He can do whatever he wants. This guy is just here to make money. And I'm here to also say to you, Rob, you could be sitting anywhere on the planet at the moment. You don't hide the fact that money is not your problem. You told me that in the first 2 minutes that I spoke to you. So the criticism coming out is this guy's got billions. He is here just to line his pockets. He's got an ulterior motive. I believe you can be sitting anywhere in the world. Why are you here? Why are you not taking the flak for standing up? It's not easy what you're doing at the moment that you've spoken out. You could shut your mouth and enjoy your wealth. But you chose to speak up. You chose to say something. You chose to try and make a difference, which is going to impact on you negatively as well. Why then? Why? What's the motivation? What's the driving force behind that?
Thank you for asking that. So one, I don't want to ever be in politics. I have no interest whatsoever in politics. And also, I don't need more money. So if people say he's just here to make money, it's not true. I'm good at it, but there's nothing that I desperately need on the money side. And really what it's about is people like you, your community, and the people around me who can't leave. I've got a passport to go to England anytime I want. I've got the money to leave. I can be the last chopper out of Saigon. But the reality is there are millions and millions of people in this country, good people who don't have those options. And no one's fighting for them. No one's standing up and fighting for them. And it makes me upset. So I made a speech a year and a bit ago at a BizNews conference, went viral and unintentionally. And I was just pulled into this new world of standing up and telling the truth. And my dad said, I've never been more proud of you, son, for doing and saying what other people can't afford to say and do. And that's what it's about. Simple as that.
Yes. So, but that sounds very, when I used to do, or still do community work, whatever, people always, there has to be something more to this. People can't identify that it's actually genuine people out there who really want to do the right thing. If ever I do something, there'll always be someone to say, well, there he goes, looking for fame, looking to be a hero. And it's like nothing you can do to please everybody all the time. So that's why it comes across as, why are you doing this? You understand why people are still saying they can't believe this, because they don't believe human beings can be good or can have good intentions.
So one of the reasons I would never stand for politics is the comment my wife made. She said, there are way too many skeletons. But that's just one reason. I've no interest in being in politics, and I don't need more money. I've got businesses that are doing well. This really is a point in my life where I can make a difference for a large number of people in this country. I can help them. And whether it's working or not, and I mean that.
Let's get straight into it before our power goes off and we have another issue. New South Africa. So give it to us in bite-sized chunks. I'm going to ask you questions as we go. So I know you got all the knowledge in your head. We're going to try and go slowly so that my guests, also my listeners and viewers also understand. New South Africa. First, where did it come about and why?
So if South Africa had an economic problem only, there are a lot of people that could come up with business solutions, but there's a societal problem. Everything's falling apart. There's load shedding and Transnet and sewage. I can go on for hours. The ANC government, this ANC government, is a disaster. It's failing everyone. And when I looked at it, I thought, what can the average person in the street do? They can wait till 2024 and vote for the opposition, or they can donate money to people in need. But that's about it. What else can they do? I mean, we're not going to go out in the street and riot and strike. And then I realized there's a technological solution. So I'm sure some of your listeners understand blockchain, but I'll just describe quickly what it is. Blockchain is a distributed ledger. All it is a recognition and a confirmation of something being sold to someone else, but it's distributed. You can't find a single ledger, and that confirmation, a little block of me selling you something, the time, the date, the price, is irrevocable and irreversible. It's an underlying technology. So what? Who cares? If it was on its own, we'd never hear the light of day. But crypto is one manifestation of blockchain. And crypto, if I'm sending you some digital currency, and you can never touch it and feel it, there has to be a record that I sold it to you and you received it, you paid me, I got the money. And that's blockchain. So that's one manifestation of blockchain. The second is non-fungible tokens, NFTs. I'm not really going to go into that one. It's
that's
kind of a funky one. But the third is a DAO, DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. And if you think of an organization of 1,000 people, for example, where no one ever met anyone else, but everyone knew what they had to do, that's a decentralized autonomous organization. And when I looked at blockchain, NFT, crypto, and DAOs, I suddenly realized there's an opportunity to build a new society, a new nation, a new tribe, a member organization without territory. And with DAOs, newsouthafrica.org, there's no leader, no president. There are thousands and thousands.
Okay, Rob, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
When you talk about blockchain and crypto, people have a negative idea that it has to do with money, has to do with finance, has to do with there's a scheme. Can you just break down why we're using blockchain? Is it for finance? Is it for money? Is it for crypto? Or is it for record keeping that we have a system? Just explain that to me as well.
It's entirely for record keeping. So if anyone has something to hide or is operating illegally, don't come near newsouthafrica.org because the blockchain sees everything and records everything. So there are a lot of members of the...
Yeah, so it's nothing to do with finance or people putting money in. The blockchain and the ledger has to do with, so for example, if I come on and I do a transaction with someone in Cape Town or whatever, there's a record of my transaction or my business or my engagement or my conversation, that sort of thing.
Exactly right, 100%. 100%.
So if somebody want to go back and say this deal was done in that way or whatever, that's where the accountability comes in. Is that what you're saying? That's where accountability comes in.
And anyone who joins newsouthafrica.org, initially we're just asking for an email or a mobile phone. But quite soon, once we've built newsouthafrica.org, every member is going to give more information and endorse other members. So, Casey, I will invite you, or you'll be a senator and invite 100 other people. But I'm relying on you that the people you invite, you trust. And so it goes. Right. It's going to be a trusted network.
So how would this help? How does government get involved here? How do we, New South Africa, how does it engage with government? Does it engage with government?
It doesn't engage with government. In fact, newsouthafrica.org is governance, but not government. We're going to operate in parallel with the government. So, for example, we're at about 12,000 people already after 4 days. It'll get to 80,000, 800,000, maybe 8 million. And of those people, you'll be able to put up proposals. So, for example, a proposal might be, let's get Wi-Fi into the rural areas and into homeless settlements for free. Everybody votes on whether that's a good idea or not. And if it's voted in as a good idea, people donate money, but the treasury of the DAO, where I will raise money externally or people will make contributions, will fund that project. but it's a referendum. Everyone votes. Those are the sort of projects.
Oh, okay. So let's just, for simplicity's sake, it's an organization. There are members, and these members got a constitution which they have, and they decide we're going to go fix that road in that area. One guy says, I'm a builder. The other guy says, I've got the sand. This guy says, got the money. We go build the road.
You got it. You absolutely got it. And most people will contribute their time and effort for free unless there's a real cost, in which case they say, it's going to cost me X, and then the DAO will come up with that money. But
so then even then people...
At the moment...
Yeah, so even then people who put in money, there's a record of the money. There's a record of where we spent it, how we spent it, and everyone who's in the group is able to see that. That's the transparency.
Your understanding is better than mine. Well done. You nailed it.
Before I got to you, I was really confused, to be honest, about, I knew it was a good thing, but I couldn't figure this thing out as to government. When you say we're working without government, we don't need government, I didn't understand that. Now I figured out it's your own little our own little organization that's able to effect change in South Africa, that we are able to bring about change without engaging government, that you can't do it.
100% right. 100% right.
That's and the good thing is, which I've seen people who are joining on as members, you're having quality members, people with qualifications, smart people with money, and in that sort of, you can't effect change. You can't do things. I know in my small network of people, I know I can call upon that guy, that guy's got a truck, that guy will do this, and then I get something done. People used to always call me a hero. I did this. I did very little work except network with the people that I had. I really didn't do much on my own. I didn't raise the money, but I used the contacts that I have. So you're saying we now have a broader network of 80,000 contacts or 100,000 contacts.
Exactly right. What it is a trusted network. It's like a large family, a trusted network. It's a concierge network. So let's say you went to, or someone went to Johannesburg, said, I want to get into this restaurant. I've been dying to do it. There'll be a member who owns the restaurant or who is a member there who says, Casey, I'll meet you at the door. I'm going to get you the best table. I'll walk you in. Or it's an expert network. So let's say you wanted to start a media business. There'll be hundreds of the members, or maybe thousands, that have done media businesses before. Will say, Casey, you should do it this way and not this way. So it's a concierge. It's an expert network, but it's a funding mechanism too, because it's going to have access to a lot of money.
So even in that sense, people are honest. What you're saying is a guy wants to start a business or he wants to get into that sort of thing. There are people on the network who are going to say, listen, we can guide you. This is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. This is where we can go. It's all of those things that's brought into that the network offers.
So if you wanted to meet a senior sales executive at Aspen Pharmaceutical, and we've got 80,000 people, you've probably got the sales executives within the organization, or at least a lot of people who will introduce you or know those people. It's a very powerful network of trusted friends, and that's the key.
Wow. Today was an epiphany for me in the last 15 minutes as well, for me to understand it. And I wanted to be able to explain to my people. If I don't understand it completely, I can't explain to somebody else how it is. So I've just had this moment here where I've done that. And a brilliant idea, by the way. We come back to the nitty-gritty here. When did you come up with it? Was it your idea that you had this idea and made it work?
Yes, this one's a not-for-profit. So the New South Africa is a not-for-profit organization. I mean, if there are costs involved, we will use some of the treasury money to pay the costs, salaries, employees, consultants, or hard work. But the idea came to me about 6 months ago. I'd like to claim that I came up with the idea, but I did a little bit. But there's a book called The Nation State, and I'd encourage everyone to read it. And it's beautifully written because the guy in the beginning says, I've got a one paragraph describing what the book's all about for those who don't want to read the book. Then I've got a 1,000-word essay, people who want to read most of it. But for the rest of you, read the whole book. And I encourage you to download the Nation State and have a look. It'll blow your mind. So I had this idea, and someone said, wow, you should read this book. It's bang on what you're thinking. But it took me, 5 months to get my act together. And about 10 days ago, I got some tech people in a room and said, I've had enough of trying to solve South Africa's problems the normal way. Here's an idea, let's build it. And we're building it. We've already got, 14,000 members, thanks to, your community and others.
No, that's going great guns. So the average guy who's listening, okay, I'm going to just take one question here. Met Murati says, will you guys change South Africa for good? Also, I was going to say this, many people came along and said, this won't work, and you do this, and you do. And I was responding to certain people, but this guy is not the answer. I said, okay, if he's not the answer, then who is? Don't just give me a problem, give me a solution. Are you wasting your time with this guy? Okay, then what do I do? Tell me where to go. If you got a saint and Rob did this and Rob did that, I said, okay, show me a saint who hasn't been a sinner in his life. What are you looking for now? You're looking for perfect people. What are you looking for? So even those who are watching and have criticism, Rob, you're going to have yours say here, but I'm going to say to them, I am in such a situation that almost I'm grabbing at straws. And if I'm drowning, I'm going to grab the straw because I got no other option. It's like the guy saying, if I grab the straw, I'm going to die anyway, so let me not grab the straw. I'm going to grab the straw because it's a bit of hope. What you are offering is a bit of hope. It's something that I want to latch onto. I can't bury my head in the sand and say, this will never work, because I tried the rest and it didn't work.
100% right.
A year down the line, Rob may be the biggest bullshit on this planet. Yeah, carry on, Rob.
But it's not for profit. I'm making no money, and it's not for profit. I'm taking not a cent out. I'm working very hard to help put it together, and then it has its own momentum. So I get zero out of it. And the sooner I step back from being the spokesman, the better, because it'll create its own momentum. But Teddy Roosevelt made a beautiful speech, and I think it was in 1926 or 1926. Have a look at the passage called "The Man in the Arena." It's the most beautiful passage.
That's my go-to. I think I shared that with you as well. Man in the Arena.
You did, and for the critics, it's fine to be a critic, but it's you, Caro, are in the arena, and I'm in the arena right now. So,
well, I think you are now in the arena and can experience it because I've been in the arena for a while, taking the hits. By the way, Rob, I'll come to a question now. I'm going to say hi to my haters who are watching you right now, and they don't want you to be associated with me. Just say hi to them. Just give them a hello. They're watching.
So to the haters, why hate? We're trying to do something good for the country. Karu is an amazing guy, and we have a mission, a one-line mission: pay the goodness forward. If somebody does you a favor, don't pay them back. Pay the goodness to someone else. Do a favor for someone else. And that's our sort of one commandment for this Dao. Do good for others.
Rob, you've done some shit in your life. You've got skeletons in your closet. Does that mean you can't go forward and be good? Even me? Does that mean you can't go forward and do good? Must you be held back by your skeletons?
Not at all. There's always redemption. There's always a chance at doing the right thing for everyone. People that go to jail and come out, they always have a chance to be good again. And for those goodies around the world, they often have some slightly dark secrets that we haven't heard about. So
no, well, that's the thing. The critic who wants to criticize you is sitting in one corner of South Africa who nobody knows about and doesn't know his secrets. But because you are on a public platform, they want to delve into your life and find out what you did as an 18-year-old when you were at campus, because they can dig into your profile. But he's sitting in his house somewhere in northern KZN or whatever, and nobody cares two shits about him and what he did. So his life is not in the public domain.
So true. It's so true. Look, we've
Rob,
got to...
I'm just going to just a question here, which has to do with finance, and importantly. So Sunil Bridgemore is saying it can end up like a pyramid scheme. You see, the moment they talk about money then becomes a pyramid scheme. Let me ask you this question. If I'm a member, am I to be contributing money and there's a big buildup of cash or something like that? How does that work?
So we will have a treasury, and we will ask people to make some donation. But it depends on your ability to fund. So if somebody can only afford 100 Rand a month, that's their contribution. If I can put in 100,000 Rand a month, that's my contribution. And you get credits for helping people, for making financial contributions, for coming together with good proposals, for introducing people to others, for paying the goodness forward.
Okay, but Rob, whoever's
one last thing. But
okay,
the differential between the person that puts in $100 and the person who puts in 100,000, we are all going to agree that a ratio can never be more than 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. So rich people can never game the system, and poor people or poorer people can earn credits by doing good to get up to the level of 20 to 1 vote from a wealthier person. We're going to make it very fair. And remember, every member votes on the governance. So we'll decide the governance together.
So if you put in 1 million and the guy put in 500 Rand, me, whether I put in 50 Rand or not, am I able to see all the money that came in, the transparency? Am I able to see that? That's what's important.
And from who it came from, when it came from them, and the amount. Everything's transparent.
And then 50,000 Rand went towards a contractor, that also will be seen.
Yeah, but it will be only decided on by the community. So the money won't go to the contractor unless.
So you don't decide how to spend the money, Rob.
No. There's no management team.
That's the thing. Are you the head of this organization? Do you make decisions?
No, I have the same vote as you, Karo, and the same vote as everyone else in your organization, in your viewership.
So if there's 200,000 Rand to be spent on a project, which you don't think is feasible, but you get outvoted,
it goes ahead.
You get outvoted. You got no say. Or your say is that you outvoted by the others who decided to spend.
Correct.
So that makes it really no leadership, that you don't have a deciding vote, that you're running the ship yourselves. I think that's something that affects people a lot when it comes to money, what's happening with the money, who's doing this and who's doing all of that. So I think we've answered that question. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not where money goes in and people at the top decide what to do with your money or how to invest your money. Just to say it again, we'll reiterate this because I think it's still a new concept. If there's 100 of us in this organization, Rob, you and I share the same level. You contribute 100,000, I contribute 100 Rand. We're on the same level, but the money goes into a treasury, which I have access to, you have access to, all of us have access to. How the money is spent, there should be a plan of action, which goes to all the members. And then when we then decide we will spend this money in this way. I summarize that.
Now there's one additional point that's very important. We have 15 principles. And for everyone who's signing on to newsouthafrica.org, please read the 15 principles. If you agree with all 15 of them, you're definitely a member of New South Africa. But if there are any of those principles you don't agree with, don't join. And the principles are merit-based, non-racialism, it's libertarian, pay the goodness forward, be good to other people, it doesn't matter what religion they are, color, height, creed, pointy heads, doesn't matter. Have a read of the 15 principles. If they resonate with you, you are a trusted member. And when it comes to making decisions, investment decisions and other decisions on how to do the governance, if we all believe in those 15 principles, and if you know and have been endorsed by other members, we should come up with the same decision. We're the same people. We're all good people. That's the intention.
I think that's important. It's like the constitution of an organization, or why you would join an organization. You are there with like-minded people. It's not just something open to everyone. Like-minded, like you're saying, the 15 principles are important because it's like a manifesto of a party. If that party believes that foreigners must be shut out immediately, I don't subscribe to that. I subscribe to everything else, but I don't subscribe to your foreigner policy, so I can't be part of the group. That means I support that initiative. So you're saying the 15 principles means we must subscribe to that. Then that means we are like-minded people thinking in the same way. So the idea of having fights and issues is minimized because we share that common vision, and we have to share the common vision.
Yeah, we're from one family with the same culture and good intentions.
Sounds is sounding more and more interesting to me. By the way, Rob, you formed this organization. There were 100 senators, and apparently I've been nominated by you as one of the founding senators.
Yes, what we thought was, because it's such a new concept, people are going, this is crazy, it'll never work, we don't understand it. What I've done is invited, I think it's up to 60 now, 60 extraordinary people who are people that I would trust, who have the same values as me, the 15 principles, and you're one of them. So we wanted to have the names up on the website so people go, oh, I like Sivan Gessi or Karu Charu or, whomever, Brian Habana. That's my kind of person, And if you see these names up there, you go, that's the crowd I want to be with. Whereas if you look at the ANC cabinet, you go, I don't want to go near those guys. They're corrupt, stupid, dangerous, and destroying the country. Whereas the 100 senators, I want to be in that family. But you don't get any special rights.
Well, firstly, thank you for affording me the opportunity in the past couple of months to be part of such a massive. I have South Africa at heart, as you already know in our first conversation. I've done a lot in that direction. So I'm very privileged to be part of the movement wherever it goes. And like I'm saying, like I'm doing now, trying to punt it to anyone and everyone. So, Rob, for the average person out there, new South Africa, now, what do they do? The guy who's watching now, he likes the idea, he likes the concept. What's the next step for him?
So you sign up for newsouthafrica.org for the movement. But if you want to get more actively involved, then you also sign up for Discord. And by the way, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know what Discord was, but I know now. And Discord is just another, it's just another app, communications app, but it's like WhatsApp, but it has different levels in it. So it's got a governance level, a treasury level, a proposals level. And if you want to be involved with discussions on treasury, you can sign up for that group. So within Discord, you have a much more active understanding of what's going on. That's the plan. Now we're building an app, and that should be ready soon. We've got a Telegram channel, but that's a one-way broadcast. And we're building the DAO now. It's going to take 3 months to build properly, but we want everyone's opinions. We want their opinions now and ideas.
So let's just go to the average guy. Like Tebogo is on now, and Tebogo is saying, where do I sign up? So he signs up as an ordinary guy. He doesn't get involved in too many other things. What's there for him? So he signs up. He's part of New South Africa. And then?
Right. For 3 months, he or she are going to receive information, videos, explaining different things to get them up the learning curve. But they're also going to start to see proposals put forward by other people. So there's a proposal already in there to throw a big concert, a big event that will be ANC out, your vote counts, vote for change. So, and the budget's 50 million rand. So, we're all going to have to decide if that's a good project, bad project, good budget, bad project. And everybody gets to see that and vote. And a lot of people can put their hands up and say, well, I'll handle the security at half the price, or I'll do it for free. We could deliver this thing at 50% of what it's budgeted for, or it might just get voted down. So the average person will be involved on day one.
So Tilo Naika was watching. She logs on, becomes a member. She will know everything that the organization is up to and what they're all about. She's a member. She's an active member. She can contribute to the discussion.
Correct. What I'd encourage you to do is not just sign up for the movement, but download the Discord app and sign up for that. You'll see it's fascinating. I'm learning so much just reading what more intelligent people are saying. It's fascinating.
Yeah, there's one thing about you that I figured out is, although you got your millions, you want to learn what other people have to say. And you're always interested. And that's why we keep learning. That's why we keep And you have no issue with saying that you didn't know this and you didn't know that and you learned it yesterday or last week. And I think that's fascinating for people to learn and be able to know that we learn all the time and that we can learn from anyone. We can learn from a kid down the road who's just said something or done something that teaches us. We thought we knew it all.
You have to keep learning all your life. Keep studying, learning, reading. And I used to say, I think I have a slightly stupid question. I don't say that anymore. I just say, I have a question.
Oh, you don't see, I don't see I have a stupid question. I have a question. So, Rob, I think we've done, I think these talks, and as you've been doing with other channels, is important because not everyone will grasp it at the first concept. Jamila Shetler is on. She says, do we find your concept anywhere else in the world, or is it something new? Good question. She's from Germany. Do we find this concept of this DAO and this organization that we're starting anywhere else in the world, or is it something brand new?
Brand new. We're the first to launch it. We, you, me, and everyone who's signed up. And the reason we're the first is because South Africa has a desperate need for this. I mean, our government is just letting us down and destroying the country. We need something new. I don't think that we haven't seen anyone develop anything like this anywhere else in the world yet. It'll come. And maybe we will do this as a test in South Africa and then launch a global one. I don't know, call it the Great Mother Network DAO.
Well, anything is possible, and would someone like you wanting to get others involved? Oh, by the way, I must tell the other people here that I'm one of the senators, and I've been seeing other senators come on. Man, 26 years old, 27 years old, young entrepreneurs, smart people. I was amazed by that.
Well, wait till we're going to put up all the names of the people that have accepted. I think we've got bios of 45 people, but I think 60 have accepted. It's a great group. And if you've got some great names of trusted friends, send them to me. We can add them.
No, for sure. Rob, how does this, the majority of South Africa is poor, living in rural, informal settlements. How do we reach them? We shouldn't, if we want to be new South Africa, they have to be an integral part of this project. Otherwise, we're just another elitist organization looking after ourselves. How do we, because they must have an input as well. Like you said, he doesn't have to contribute to be part of it. He doesn't have to pay 100 a month or 1,000 a month, but they have real problems. And if we're going to fix our country, those are things that we need to look at seriously if we're going to move forward. We can't ignore that. So how do we get the informal people involved, shack dwellers?
That's the best question of all. That's the best question of all. Because not only haven't they heard of blockchain, but they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have handheld devices or PCs. And here's how it works. You know, let's say that we get to 8 million people of the 60 million South Africans, okay? Our job then is through the projects, the free Wi-Fi, the education, the, help people go from bucket toilets to flushing toilets. The projects and proposals we put up in the DAO, I reckon will be 99% focused on those people, on helping them. I'm wealthy. I have my own borehole, so I don't need water from the government. I have a generator and inverter and solar. I don't need Eskom. I have private schools. I have private security. What's the government? I pay tax, but the government gives me nothing. But the same applies to the people at the lowest level. They're not getting anything anyway from the government. They're not getting sewage. They're not getting roads because the ANC's stolen all that money. So we have to work very closely together with those people and help them. And the DAO does that. The DAO will be focused heavily on improving their lives because the government's not doing it.
Rob, a lot of people have come to me and said, this is going to end up a political party. You're going to end up in politics. And I'm sure you've already had a lot of people calling on you to get into politics. And I can safely say that I don't think Rob is into politics because I've said this to you before. Rob became an activist by default. And I think you said it yourself. Rob didn't come out to be an activist. Rob went on to Business News conference and spoke his mind. And then from there, things just changed. for Rob. Am I right in saying that? So I don't think you had a political agenda or a political affiliation or want to be in politics. Maybe you can just address that.
I really don't want to be in politics. Can you imagine me sitting around a table where people haven't done their homework, stating the obvious, meeting? I mean, I've got some form of ADHD. I like 20-minute meetings and that's it. After 5 minutes, I'd start to be rude to the other cabinet ministers and we'd start a fight and I'd be kicked out. It isn't going to happen. It really isn't going to happen. Trust me, I dislike politics. And I say that to students at university, anyone who's studying political science is wasting their time. I've just real low regard for politics. You won't see me there.
I think I just preempted. Sunil came out with the concept is brilliant, yada, yada, yada. Rob's got the right mindset. Like Rob and Casey and other people can form a political party and do wonders in this country and whatever. And I think even, I'm just sharing something with you. Even recently, past couple of weeks or days actually, I had a political trajectory or whatever, and even that is now my mindset has changed in that regard as well. And I think you just answered Sunil's question that politics is not necessarily going to be for you or going to be for you. It's that's not going to work, especially for you.
There's Herman Mashaba, John Steenhuisen, Musi Maimani, and Carter. There are enough decent options to replace the ANC out there. And we just don't want to be another option, another pop-up party. This New South Africa org will be way more powerful in creating a better South Africa than any of those political parties.
So you just touched on it. I want to end with that or go in that direction. 2024, you and I already know and accept game changer. You've already said it openly that the ANC is out. But the ANC is not necessarily out on its own. Is it not up to us as a people, as a country, to get the ANC out? They're not just going to go out on their own. They're not going to go out walking out the door. They need to be booted out the door. And you've been vociferous on that. So just to educate the viewers here, how do we get the ANC out?
So I'm sure a lot of your viewers have voted ANC in the past. And for anyone like me to say that the ANC didn't love this country is wrong. The ANC did love this country. But this ANC government does not love this country because it's stealing and breaking everything and it's a disaster. So 55% of South Africans did not vote, didn't even vote. They said, we've had enough, it makes no difference. We've got to get those people to register and vote, and we've got to get them to vote for change, because we know the ANC is a disaster right now. And I have a friend who's a very senior member of the ANC, Omri Machagole, and he said, Rob, I will always be an ANC member, but the ANC doesn't deserve to win in 2024. They need to go out for 5 years and clean their act up and come back as a good, better party. And you know what? I've come around to that decision. He might be right. Now, I was an ANC hater, but I'm a hater of this government, not the ANC. That's probably the right way to say it.
I also said that, and I came to realize that in my political evolution, that I would think that the ANC is probably the best party to run this country, but the ANC in its true form, not what it is now. That I would even vote for the ANC if they stood up to the Freedom Charter and the Constitution and did what is right for this country. I would even vote for the ANC.
So the first 10 years, the ANC did a very good job. We had economic growth, we had the Rainbow Coalition, we had competent people across the line. But since Zuma came in, it's been an unmitigated disaster.
Casey, simple, pack the bags and leave, not this country, but leave this world. Rahim Mohammed is saying leave this world. We're not leaving. Some people say, and I'm also going to say this just for others who are listening, a lot of people are negative about, this won't work, that's not this guy is that. And I say to them, you know what? It's like you've accepted defeat and death and you're gone. I said, maybe if you want to die, that's good. And then that's a selfish thought, because what about your children? What about your grandchildren? Are you saying you're prepared to put the lights off and you go to sleep? And what happens to your child and your grandchild? You care two shits. Is that what you're saying?
You have to do something in life for other people. It can't always be about yourself. I'm not saying it to you. I'm just saying to people generally. And here's a real opportunity. Look, I don't know if New South Africa org is going to be a success. I don't know where it's going to end up or what it's going to achieve, but the wheels are turning, the momentum's there. And what I'm saying is, everybody, please get involved, because everybody can contribute. You know, the ANC government today, I can't contribute to the government today. They're my enemy, but I can contribute here.
So how would we as New South Africa, what would be our role to play moving towards 2024 and affecting change in government? How would New South Africa then, what role do you see us playing there?
So I have a logo called ANC Out. And I have another logo that says Vote for Change. But a friend of mine saying a better one would be Your Vote Counts. We have to encourage 55% of the country who didn't vote to vote. And they will vote for change, because most of them are hurtful with the government and don't think they can affect change. They can. So that's role number one. And role number two is for us to do good in the next 18 months for the people that are really, really struggling. Don't have jobs, don't have electricity, have been unloved by the ANC government. We can help them. I mean, I had a crazy idea, and I shouldn't mention it on here. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
On your show, you've got a lot of taxpayers. A lot of people listening pay tax. In fact, probably most of them, because the Indian community is punches above its weight in not just South Africa, the whole of Africa. What happened if we got to 800,000 people? And by the way, that's the number of taxpayers in South Africa. It's only 800,000.
800,000?
800,000 out of 60 million. Only 800,000 pay tax. And 150,000 pay 90% of the tax. Think about that. If we had that 150,000 as members of New South Africa, and somebody woke up and said, why don't we all agree not to pay tax on March the 16th? I'm being hypothetical here. The government would collapse. They'd be out, gone. They wouldn't have our money to steal. And what, instead of paying, this is hypothetical, paying tax to those guys stealing it, we put it into the treasury and we use the money to build roads, create electricity, sewage. We do all the things the government should be doing. Think about that.
Well, Rob, that's a great idea, and it's something that has been bandied about even in the municipalities, where in each municipality they're now saying, instead of us paying our rates to you, we'll pay to a trust, and we'll use that funds to effect change because you are not using it. So I can tell you something. Any municipality, if they hear about a rates boycott, they shiver in their boots, because it's the ratepayer, it's the taxpayer that makes everything work. And the day the people realize that they are the ones who have the power, that's when we have the power. That's when we take back the power.
Bingo. Bingo, you've got it. You've nailed it.
people need to realize that the power lies with us. And by the way, for the voting thing, I've said, we all know that one cousin, brother, who doesn't want to vote. I think it's each responsibility of us to get that person to vote. I think even in voting, we say your vote counts. Your influence on others to get them to vote is also going to be important. Your role is not only voting, is to get at least 1, 2, 10. For every one, we move 10, we move 100, we move 1,000. And those people voting is how we effect change.
100% right. There's a guy called Chris Pappas, who's a DA mayor in Umgeni, and he won by 46 votes. 46 votes out of thousands. And he's the mayor, and he's doing an amazing job. So those 46 votes made all the difference. It can be done.
No, that's why we have to keep convincing people. I'll try to do it. I'll continue to do it. Rob, it's been, I know after 15 minutes you get bored, but you spend another hour with me. So I know you do, and I love our conversations, and I love that you keep checking in on me and seeing what's happening so that we go forward. New South Africa is something that obviously I'm a senator there now, and I want to get more involved. We'll chat about that, how I can really be involved too. I'm excited about the project, as are many others, and I'm sure I can influence other people and get them to so as long as I know what's happening. We will need to have you on again, Rob. But just before you go, Rob, all this talk about the ANC out, ANC out. How many hits have you got on you yet? Any death threats? And how are you coping with that?
I've had death threats. I've had a lot of horrible things said about me, but because I'm not on social media, I don't read any of it. I just ignore it. I just carry on.
And I think that's a good thing, actually, Rob, that you don't see that. Because the more you see it, the more it starts to affect you, the more you want to react to it and all of that. So I've got a dedicated hate group, and at some point I have to read everything and I get frustrated. Now I just don't care two shits. You guys can talk what you want to talk. It really doesn't bother me. Right now, they're really churning in their own grip because I'm talking to someone like you. How could someone like me be on a platform with someone like you? And it really upsets them. And I say to them all the time, my successes, I want you to be live to see my successes. I want you to watch this to see my successes, where I'm going and how far I'm going. Rob, thank you for that. I'm going to leave you with, and by the way, let me just say this to you. I'm glad we hooked up. And also, people used to say this to me, right? And I said this to you, that I influence a lot of people, and I had quite a big platform, and I do have a big platform. You've got a much wider platform. The entire country wants to talk to you. And with great power and influence comes great responsibility. I think you already know that. People are looking to you as a leader. People are looking to you. And from what I see, I know where your heart is. I know what it is. But maybe you could just end with that. I think you've given so much of people hope. Whether it's a black guy, I've seen black people, I've seen white people, I've seen Indian people, seeing you as a beacon of hope. So first, I want to thank you for speaking out. There are many other millionaires and billionaires who can care two shits about anybody else. They worry about their own pockets and their own lives. I think that's what people can't fathom about you, that you are taking the stance. So firstly, let me say thank you for taking that stance. The last year of your life is in fact changing the trajectory of South Africa.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I hope it does. I hope my bit helps and makes this a better place for all of us to live in. It's such a great country. It is such a great country.
It is a great country. I mean, people tell me about all the bad things and bad people. Then I also remind them there are actually some very, very good people, or a lot of very, very good people. A lot of people who really have an interest in what's happening. And also, Rob, I think sometimes it takes someone like me or someone like you to move the other person who really wanted to do something but didn't know how to do it. And then we give them the outlet. We give them the platform.
So try this platform, everyone. Try newsouthafrica.org. Contribute, get involved, learn, put up proposals. Let's see if we can turn it into something amazing. You never know. It's worth trying.
So www.news, if you want to know how to get on, www.newsouthafrica.org. You log on there and you fill in your details, you become a member. Once you remember, then you will know everything that's happening. Rob, is there a question and answer thing there? People want to ask questions. Is there a platform for them to?
Yes. Everyone's answering everyone else's questions. It's like a big community, a big family. And, there's a lot of love in there. How about that?
Tell me, Rob, is Katie asking about me? Is she missing me?
She is, but tonight she's missing me. I'm going to get home at some point.
All right, Rob, I'm going to give you the last minute to do a roundup and some inspiration for our country and people who are watching. I'll give you a minute to round up.
Yeah, I just want to thank your audience. Thank everyone for listening in. And, I'm still learning about this new thing, the Star. But I think we've got one last shot. We've got 19 months till May 2024 for the election. And if it's the same crew in the ANC in power, we're finished. We are finished. So let's all roll up our sleeves and give it a crack. Maybe this is the right idea. Maybe you've got better ideas, but try something and pass the goodness forward. Casey, you're an amazing friend. I really have loved meeting you. You bring intellect, charm, love, and humor into my life, and it's been a treat.
Cheers, Rob. We'll chat soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Great man.
That was Mr. For the mother himself. He's going to be a mother, Mr. Rob. We have to teach him how to say the word mother, by the way, to get it right. But cheers, Rob. That was also Rob Hersov. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying on the platform. I hope it was informative to you. You can leave your comments now as I'll read your comments. Tilo Naika says, thanks, guys. Kritika says, definitely still something worth looking into. Yatin Soni says, thanks. Ritesh Raz says, get Rob to get Helen Ziller on your show. I will get Helen Ziller on my show and others. I'll try to get, the talk shows are coming back as I'm rounding up all my court matters and all my other drama. I will be doing more talk shows. Sunil says, South Africa cannot survive the ANC for another 2 years. The wheels have come off. Indeed, Sunil also coming straight from the ANC, by the way, knows the inner workings of the ANC. So let me hear your comments. Lenny Pillay says, awesome show. Deepak Maharaj says, refreshing. Indeed, it is a refreshing idea. And look, what have we got to lose? Even if you signed up as a skeptic, even if you signed up, what do you have to lose? There's no money involved. You don't have to devote your time, nothing. Tilo Naika says we need to real political party vote. It's a priority. Thank you, Kritika. Stephen says it's definitely a right move, Casey and Rob. I think it is. And I'm glad I've hooked up with sort of the right people. It took me a while to get where I am. I've been in the political wilderness for a while, trying to figure out where do I lay my hat, so to speak. And the reason I figure I want to know where to lay my hat is because where I lay my hat is where my followers and people want to be as well. They take my word or my vision and my opinion is important. Tiboko says, thank you to Caro and Rob. What a great live. I've learned a lot. Rob is such an inspiration. Indeed, he is, Tiboko, and thank you for joining us. And Rob inspires me. And as you heard him say, I inspire him. And I think that's what the new South Africa movement is all about. When I was in Cape Town with Rob, I met some really awesome people who are multi-millionaires, and really down-to-earth people who have the interest of South Africa at heart. So yeah, even though we had load shedding today and I thought I wasn't going to go live, it finally ended up. Thank you to my son, Tyler, also made it happen when I was panicking as to what to do. My wingman was there for me and calmed me down, and we got it done. So yeah, Rajan Nair says, thank you, Casey. Anybody else want to say something? I was going to be live on Thursday, but maybe not. Are we not duplicating what they're trying to do, declare Western Cape independence? Elsa Barbosa, then I don't think you've been listening to the entire program. Maybe go back and listen to the entire program. And what's wrong with Western Cape that they want independence? I can't see, even black people are saying, how? If they want independence, if they want, why not make them independent? Let's have a talk about it, Elsa Barbosa. While we're on live, we can have a 5-minute conversation on that. What's wrong with Cape Town being independent? They already off the grid, I think. They already don't have as much load shedding as we have. Cape Town is being governed in an entirely different way. There are plans afoot to make Cape Town independent. I wouldn't have a problem. Ritesh Ras says, substation blew up. Casey, major problem as well. Definitely substation blew up in my area. Something is wrong here. I don't know what. We don't know how long that's going to be. Can't even buy my whole sheep anymore. Must buy small quantities of meat. Otherwise, the whole sheep is gone. Elsa Barbosa says nothing. Okay, you're saying there's nothing wrong with independence. That's fine, Elsa Barbosa. But I'm not having an argument with you. I just thought you started the discussion. We could take it on from there. Right. So, still 50 some odd people online. You don't want to leave the live. It's 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining me. We're ending up with a Cape Town discussion as to Elsa Barbosa says, I'm very keen. Vishal says, good interview, lots learned in such a short space. Indeed, it's just an hour, but we managed to get. So what do you think of my interviewing skills? Hey, that I'm able to get through, even without my script. I had an entire script. That script, I had pointers. I knew what I wanted to talk about. I knew I would steer the conversation. And then I was thrown out of my office, load shedding. And then I came onto the platform in my dining room. I've got the phone, not the laptop. I had no notes. And so I think I did quite well. But I'll leave that to you to say. Did I do quite well? I think I got most of the questions out. 50% Durban, no power, Casey. Thanks for good show. Wow, 50% of Durban without power. And hopefully by the morning it's restored. Hopefully they're getting the electricians out there with the extension cords and plugs and masking tape and insulation tape and trying to fix the problem. Let's hope it goes from there. Tilo Naika says, I always say I got a Tilo Naika Botswana because I met Tilo in Botswana when I was there. Tirolaika says, thanks, Casey. It was extremely interesting, really, for those of us who want to make a difference. Yes, if you want to make a difference, seriously, well done, says Calvin West. Thank you, Calvin, for watching, by the way. Always supporting. I really appreciate it. Christian Naya says, top stuff, Casey. Which Christian Naya was it? Say, Lotus F. How did I want Christian Naya? He used to take the calls from Mrs. T. Chetty. Yeah, little Devanya. So thank you all for watching. And I won't do a live on Thursday. I was going to do a live. Oh, yes, Christian A says Lotus FM. Ah, Christian A, Lotus FM. You must hook up with me, do it on WhatsApp. And guys, if you want to join my WhatsApp, please I'll put the number out 073-767-5836. 073-767-5836. Guys, I can tell you this much. I'm committed to doing as much as I can to build a new country, if not for myself, for my son and for his children. I think that's what why I'm invested in it. And if there's anything you're going to do or try to do, it's not about yourself. I think it's about your children and your grandchildren. If you can't see that, then something is seriously wrong with you. If you can't do something for your children and your grandchildren. Right. Without much further ado, it's time for me to close. Thank you for watching. And next week, I'll have some guests lined up. I'm looking to get in Musi Maimani, Dr. Kone Mulder as well, from the Freedom Front Plus, who's a brilliant politician. And right, say a good night quickly. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to say a good night. Don't be rude. You see, participation this is participation. Christian says, good night, Mother United. Go, Mother United. Niri Naira says, wow. Thank you, Niri. I haven't heard from you for a while. Always, we used to be first on the lives. I'm sure we'll get back to that. Elsa Barbosa says that. Vishal Rampa says, good night, Vishal from Vishal Stanger Banger. Sunil Ramlagan says, good night. Thank you, Sunil, for good night. Thank you for watching. Deboko says, please get Penwell the black pen. Well, Penwell, I will be getting Penwell. We had a chat. He couldn't make it the last time. I will get him on. Before we go, please wish Mervyn, oh yes, a very, very happy birthday to one of my long-time buddies, Mervyn Naidu, who accompanies me to escort for my court matters, takes time off from work. I've known Mervyn now for over 20 years. I was going to say a big happy birthday to Mervyn. Sorry, it's delayed. I hope you had a great day. But we're meeting up on Friday, so we might have some coffee. I don't know if fasting is done by then. Not Stanger Banger from you. Oh, Vishal. I always get Vishal, this Vishal mixed up with the Stanger Banger. Vishal from Newcastle. This is Vishal from Newcastle. Thank you so much. Being in Pretoria with my little daughter, says Niri. Good night. Roxana B. Hanif says good night. So good night for me. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, remember to always keep it. Keep it. What? Mother. Mouth.